get high, but baby, if you want, he'll go down low. Doing a podcast on a random Thursday night. Girl, this blow, he's gonna make you feel alright. I know the manager, he knows what's going down. He'll make you laugh, but he damn sure is not a clown. I know the manager, and this man, he's got clout. He's gonna make you scream, you know he'll make you shout. He's gonna make you scream, he'll know he'll make you shout. I know the manager, yeah, yeah.
What up? It's another episode of I Know the Manager. We're on episode 44. Oh, getting on up there. 44. Thank you for hitting the download button or coming to my website at www.IKnowTheManager.net. But it's easier if you just download it. I have a new download button on the website, or you can get it from iTunes, Stitcher, or any podcast downloader app that downloads things. It's probably on there. I appreciate you listening in. So you should check out my last podcast with the very funny and witty Mike Kaplan and Casey Holt, his girlfriend. They were riding around the country to move her to New York or wherever, and they made it safe. So I just want you to know they are safe, and he is joking on Facebook. Back to normal. His life is back to normal with the exception that she is living there. So, which could be normal, but normal is perception. You know what I mean? So I did some things to the website. You should check it out at www.IKnowTheManager.net. What's changed, you say? Well, you can still get the podcast from there. But I took down the old YouTube videos and put up some new ones. A clip of me telling a joke or two. Let me see, the newest video called WWE Thug Life, featuring Ann. She's a very pretty lady. And I think that's it for the videos. I'm going to be recording some more of them, hopefully in the near future. Also, what's going on with me? Oh yeah, I put up my schedule, so if you want to come to any of my comedy shows, or live podcasts, which I don't, in the works of planning one of them again, just letting y'all know. It will be in Huntsville. But if you want to book me in, Birmingham, or anywhere, I will do a podcast there. But yeah, you can check out all them videos. You can check out my schedule, and now I have my booking info on there. So if you want to email me, I did not put my phone number there. Don't want any crazy people calling me at all. Thought about it really for about 5 minutes. I was like, that could be very good or very bad. So I decided the easier of the roads. Let's not do that. But I have my email. I do have an app on my phone, so every time I get an email, I will know, I think, immediately. I'm pretty sure, let's say within 5 minutes. And I do check my email regularly. So you can email me. And if you just want to reach out and say, hey, thank you for another podcast, or you want to say, hey, I would like to book you for a show, which I am looking for shows to do, mainly comedy, not live podcast. But I will do a live podcast. You just, we'll set a date, and you give me $1 billion. Okay, let's not, I'm just joking. I wouldn't do one for $1 billion. Unless you're a billionaire, and then I would do comedy for $1 billion. But I'm not saying that I'm worth $1 billion, is what I'm saying. Got a great episode today. We're going to be hitting it off with Jessica Michelle Singleton. And she's a comic from L.A. She's about to move, so got her at the right time. she's just moving across town. I heard the live podcast with Barack Obama and Mark Maron, and that was epic. So I think once I get him out of office, not once I get him out of office, once he gets out of office, I think I'll be able to book him. You know what I mean? I think while he's in office, he's highbrow. So that was very epic. So that gave me some hope for my podcast. but not very happy about it because there goes more listeners to Mark Maron's podcast and less for mine. So I'm just gonna have to clothesline him. But what can you do? But yeah, you can check all that new stuff out. Please check all that new stuff out on my website at www.IKnowTheManager.net. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook at IKnowTheManager. What else? That's about it for this. We're about to get right into the podcast. Are you ready? Well, too bad, because we got this podcast is sponsored by Audible. What's Audible? Well, do you hate reading? Me too. So what you can do is go to this website, audibletrial.com/IKnowTheManager, and get a 30 free day trial and a free download of a book that will be read to you. You can listen to it in your car. You can listen to it while you're at work. You can listen to it going to bed. All you got to do is go to www.audibletrial.com/IKnowTheManager. Help me out. Keep this podcast free. Help me pay the bill for my freaking website. You know what I mean? Where I host all these wonderful award-winning podcasts that's self-proclaimed, by the way. So help a brother out. That's one more time, a 30 free day trial and one free download at audibletrial.com/IKnowTheManager. Go check it out. Got all kinds of books. I'm slaying it right now. We're going to get into the podcast right now. All right, so we're here with Jessica Michelle Singleton, and I said that right, correct?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I was like, I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right, because if I'm not, I suck as a host.
Yeah, it's just boring old what it looks like, but you never know with some people.
Yeah, so you're from, from Alaska, right?
Yes, I live in Los Angeles, but I grew up in Alaska.
Okay. So did you move from Alaska just strictly for comedy, or were you just like the family moved? What was that?
I actually, when I graduated when I was 17, and I went to Florida for college. So I was in Florida for 5 years. I graduated in 4 years, and then I just worked for a year, saving up to move. What my original plan was to move to New York, and then I got the opportunity to visit LA, and then I decided to move to LA instead.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's great weather and a lot going on.
Yeah, because it's always summer out there, pretty much. It's always summer. Like, you don't even have to turn on the AC, really, do you?
I mean, the AC or the heater?
The AC, the air conditioner. Now, I'm sure the heater. Yeah, not the heater. You don't want to turn that on.
Oh, you definitely have to turn on the AC sometimes. Lately, it's getting so hot that, like, AC is almost like necessity just to keep yourself from bursting into flames some days. But that's the summertime, and I'd rather be hot than cold.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What now, is that drought out there, like you're running out, is that like really serious? Like, is it like, oh my gosh, like, is it life-threatening, or is it just like a scare?
I mean, they say that, like, there's not, like, it's not, I mean, water still comes out of the faucets and stuff, but, like, I think it is a serious issue, and a lot of people maybe aren't taking it seriously enough. I saw someone on Facebook, I wish I could remember who to give them credit, another comedian was like, I just saw someone in line at the Starbucks talk about the drought, using quotes, in case anyone's wondering why we're in a drought. But it's like, because you don't, they're saying like within a year even, we could run out of water, but I think because you don't see it immediately, and we're so first world and people are just used to having other things.
Yeah.
People don't take it seriously.
Okay, cool.
I try to do my part.
Yeah, so do you like have to take a shower, like not take a shower at a certain time? I know you aren't that restricted, but it's best that you stay in the shower for like this long and at certain times, or?
Gosh, you know what? I think you're right about the time. That might just be with the power, but I'm not really sure. I need to read up on that.
Okay.
But I definitely take shorter showers, and I know there's like restrictions on like watering your lawn, and there's actually an initiative now I just found out about from I have a friend who owns a home out here. Otherwise, I probably never would have learned this. But apparently, homeowners can get like a big tax rebate, like you get money from the government if you change your lawn to like turf or to like not, you know what I mean, stuff that doesn't need water.
Yeah.
So they're like switching over their lawn and getting money. There's like, so I mean, I'm assuming if the government's doing that, it must be pretty bad.
Yeah, that's gotta be pretty serious if they're willing to give you a refund. Oh crap. Okay. So you're moving Wednesday? Well, I mean, it's just across town, but like
It's just across town, yeah.
a lot better area, or you know.
It's just a different area. I don't know if it's better or worse. There's it's kind of like there's a different scene over there. Like you see comments all the time, but LA is such a big spread out city that it kind of ends up becoming a lot of times these like pocket scenes. So you'll kind of feel like you see everybody and you're going everywhere, but you're really just in your one little area, and you remember, oh yeah, there's so many more people and places to go. So change of scene. It's a nice house, and it's really pretty and big and not expensive, and there's a lot of good things for me personally with where my comedy's at, as far as like I don't have parking right now, and I've been going on the road a lot, and that's just every time I go on the road, it's this huge extra like stress, and this new place will have a parking spot, which is
that'd be nice.
So crucial when you live in LA if you're like going on the road and stuff, because there are like monsters here with the ticketing.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a lot easier. Oh man, I got a parking garage. I don't ever use it, but I don't ever use the garage. I just got actually done moving, finally. Oh, that was a hassle. So I know how stressed out you probably are.
You moved across town?
Yeah, I moved. I moved to a neighboring, like a neighboring.
City?
Yeah, just a neighboring city. It's literally 10 minutes away from my house where I used to live, so it's not that much of a change. And basically, I just drive a little farther if I want to go to town. But this is a growing city, so
yeah.
And then I moved from an apartment to a house, so I'm like, I can't beat that.
Oh, that's great.
I can't.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna have a house in the yard. It'll be great.
Oh, you're gonna be at a house?
Yeah, I mean it's with other people and roommates, but it's such spacious, and like there's a yard and a couple of roommates, because it's a big house. There's like 6 of us that live there, but it's like huge. A couple of the roommates have dogs, which I'm super excited about because I love dogs, but because of how my life and traveling is going lately, which is obviously like a great thing. I don't want to sound like a douchebag. Like because of all the traveling, you know. But I just can't have a dog. I wouldn't be able to take care of it. So I'm so excited to have roommates with dogs I can just play with whenever I'm home.
Yeah. I don't think I could like own a dog. Like my roommate has a dog, and then I like play with it. But like I got a guinea pig. He is like the least.
Oh my god, a guinea pig!
Yeah, and they're not even that like.
I almost got one.
Yeah, they're so awesome. Like this, he's chill. Like the one that I have, like everybody's like, oh, he's gonna bite me. Like he has never bitten me. Like I pick him up, get him out. People pick him up all the time, and I'm like, he's not gonna bite.
I feel like I think if I was gonna have a guinea pig, I would like wanted to bite people because my mom was like, oh, careful, he's aggressive, and they'd be like, aha, and then he bites.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know, like for real, like I don't know if it's like a girl or a boy.
It's hard to tell, yeah.
At first, I named it Robin, like Batman and Robin, because I did have Batman, and then I took him on a car ride when I moved him, and like they hate car rides, and he died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they hate
Wait, and he died?
Yeah, he died because it's like shaking a baby. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's like the same thing. It's like boom, and then like.
Wait, so you have a new guinea pig?
No, I had 2, and this one survived.
Oh, you had 2. I missed that part. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, I had 2, and one of them survived, and the other one, like it was Batman died, and then Robin, and I kept Robin's name for about a year, and I'm like, that's not even appropriate anymore, like, because when I tell people, oh, that's Robin, they don't put 2 and 2 together sometimes, and I'm like.
They just think you named it Robin.
Yeah, and I'm like, that sounds lame.
Well, that's good. It's a unisex name.
Yeah,
What's
it is.
What's his name now?
So, but I named it. Its new name. I'm hoping it's a girl. If it's not, I don't care. But now it's T Swift.
Wait, what is it?
T Swift, like Taylor Swift, but T Swift.
Oh, T Swift. I thought you said Cheese Whip, and I was like, Cheese Whip.
What
I
a
was like,
name is
what?
that?
Which actually would be a cool name to me, but that's funny.
No, I don't. And I just was listening to Taylor Swift one day, and I was like, you know what? That's its new name, and no one's gonna stop me.
That's very country of you.
So I've been looking, doing a bunch of research about coming out there and stuff. Not if I come out there, I would just come to live. But I looked at
Yeah.
LA prices, and I was like, probably not gonna be able to make it like in LA. Like I'm pretty logical and pretty good with money, so I was like, I will probably not be able to live like. But like I've been looking at like Riverside like and stuff like that.
Riverside, I mean, that's pretty far commute though. Like the money you save if you're really trying to. I mean, I guess there's sort of a scene down in Orange County, so you could go to Steps and figure it out and get in there. I just feel like the amount you would save on like rent and stuff, you're going to end up paying in
Gas.
like just travel.
That makes sense. Okay, well then I need to think about that then. Okay, that better.
It is tough. I mean, sometimes you can find like really crazy good roommate situations, and I mean, if you have like a really good friend or something that also wants to move out here and is like really into the hustle of comedy, you guys could like just share a studio for a few months or whatever. Like people do that shit, like bunk beds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's a grind, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at it, I was like, I don't know if I could do that, but then like, because I'm going as of now, like I'm trying not to depend on anybody. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely. I hate the idea of even
dude, it's
asking someone for any help.
yeah,
That's why
definitely,
moving's so
yeah.
stressful.
And then like if something don't happen on their end, it's like well, I'm in a situation where I can't do anything now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of
exactly.
so, but I know this couple, and they live down here, and they want to move back there, actually. So, and I'm like,
Oh.
yeah. So I'm like, I will trust me. I will go. I am definitely because I've wanted to go out there before even comedy. Like it wasn't even just like, oh, I'm doing comedy now. I need to go to. It was
just like you want to go to LA.
yeah. It was the thing. I've wanted to do that. I don't, probably like what year is it? Probably like 4 or 5 years now. It's been in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go out there, and that's gonna be. But like now I do comedy. It's like, okay, you need to go out there. You know what I mean?
Like now you really need to go. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great. If you have a couple of friends that are trying to, like if there's a couple that's trying to come out, that's a good way. If they're looking for a place, having a roommate could save them money, and then you're getting to split a place with a couple, so you're saving even more money than just with one roommate.
Yeah.
And a lot of couples have a hard time finding. I've noticed this when I was in my apartment search this time, which I didn't realize was a thing. A lot of couples out here will be looking for like roommate situations, but like a lot of people aren't into having couples as roommates for one reason or another, I guess. And so it's hard for them. So like you being like, hey, I'm willing to go out to your roommate. That's like, that could be make it work.
Yeah.
Because if you live in like the valley out here, it's still semi-expensive, but you can get a place for not too bad in an area that's not awful and unsafe. So you can get a nicer place versus what you can get in the actual like Hollywood part of the city for your money by staying in the valley. And that's like a 15-minute hop over to, West Hollywood and where a lot of the mics and stuff are.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And there's a whole scene in the valley, and there's 3 clubs up there. So it's not like you're isolated, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
The valley almost is its own scene in a way.
Okay, cool. And there's okay, say, what is it like? Is it like Beverly has their own scene, and then like one side of LA has their own scene, the other side? Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's kind of.
Yeah, it's not really like in my experience. I feel like there's some people who think it's a little cliquey. Like they're like, there's the alt comics and the club comics. I think it just sort of ends up being like based on location, and there's not really like it's not like you're from this part of town. You know what I mean? It's not like West Side Story or something where people are like, oh, you're a jet. But like there are definitely like scenes just in the fact that like people will go to the mics and shows that are like closer to them, and then like you're the same mics as people. Those are the people booking shows in that area, and you end up getting like in this rotation. So like in the East Side. I call it the East Side, and it's like it's not even that far east of Los Angeles. But like it's like Silver Lake, Echo Park, and like starting to spread up to like Highland Park where I'm moving. There's a scene. There's a lot of like the alt comics, but like bigger alt comics. Not, I mean, I don't know. That do a lot of, I don't know, festivals and alty things together. I'm not. Still stupid saying alty things because people are like they're alt comics, they're alternative comics, but like it's not like a bunch of them are like going up there and just not doing comedy. I think alternative comedy is a weird word.
Yeah.
I guess it's like maybe that started based on like venues, so it was like people doing stuff outside of clubs versus the actual style comedy. But like, yeah, you'll definitely notice like a group over there. Like if you go there for a little while, you'll see a lot of familiar faces. But then if you start to go to like this Mike's in Mid City or going to like the Comedy Store for their potluck, like you're not going to see most of those or any of those East Side guys like at the Comedy Store potluck usually. And like, I don't think it's like anti. It's not like, oh, fuck that place or whatever, so much as it is just like, oh, they live on the East Side, so they have their places they go and they're comfortable with it.
Yeah, because it's just closer. Because it's got to be a pain in the ass to get around there.
I mean, it is hard to travel, so you kind of like figure out your little setup of like, okay, how many shows or mics can I get to most efficiently each night? So you'll figure out, okay, these mics are here and they're close to this show and this show that I want to go check out. So you kind of like map out your thing, and then it's easy to get into like a rotation of like, oh, it's Monday. Here's the mics I always do on Mondays. Here, and here. So you'll bounce around from places close to each other. A lot of people do that if there's like a chunk of mics close to each other, and then they'll like head out to like a later one in another part of town. That's an option.
Okay.
But, I mean, you'll notice that like there's definitely a difference in like. There's some people you'll end up seeing like everywhere because they're just hustling super hard, which is, in my opinion, is like great. Is like that's really what you've got to be doing. But then there's some people you'll see in certain areas, and neither of those things is worse than the other. It is what people do.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about like, okay, so say how many open mics could you go to just on a Monday? You know what I mean? Like within
on a Monday, I would say. Monday there can be like a pretty good amount. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Just in like the mid-city area, you can hop on like 1, 2, 3, kind of like 4 to 5. I think is the max, unless you're like crazy grinding and like hauling ass to other parts of town, and you know the people at the list, and they'll throw you up. The odds of you getting on many more than that. So like for instance, like right where I am right now I'm in like West Hollywood. So you can sign up at 4 p.m. at a place called Rock Paper, and then that starts at, I think, 5. It might be 6 now, but you can start signing up at 4, and then there's a place like probably about a mile or 2 away called Sal's, which is a nice. You can start signing up at 5, and it starts at 6, and then Meltdown is right in the same area, and that sign up starts at 5. So you can like bounce around and sign up at all these and kind of pop in and see where you are on the list, and then like with Meltdown, it's a lottery, so you see if you got up. You have to be in the room with Meltdown, which they draw names at 5:30, and then after that, you can go over to the Comedy Store, and they have their potluck.
Okay.
And then you can drive to Westwood, which is about like 3 or 4 miles away. But if you have a car and you can drive, there's a mic over there at 8:50 at a place called Improv Space. So there are ways to do it. You just kind of have to figure out what works for you, and then you'll see. I recommend, and this is so hypocritical for me to say because I have gotten into the terrible habit of just going to the same places, but I'm trying to get out of that. I recommend looking at like at all the open mics and like checking out all of them and finding the ones where you feel the most comfortable, because that's going to be. I mean, it's good to be out of your comfort zone a little, obviously, for growth, but like the more comfortable you are, the more you'll be able to be yourself and really work out your material. So
yeah, I get that. Yeah, because usually on Monday, see, we don't have that. We have 5. We have 5 open mics all week, and that's it. And then we have
all week. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Right. I forget that. Like I say you can go to 4 or 5 in a night. Like that's like a low number. I think like these New York comics that are fucking maniacs and going like God knows how many. But yeah, no, you can get up. I mean, I say like if you're really like, okay, I'm just gonna get up as much as I can, you can do 3 times a night, no problem, every night. And then if you can do a little bit more than that if you're really, like, running around, and if the timing just works out. Sometimes you try to get to a mic, and you're just a little too late, and it's just fine. That's how it goes.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, because we only got, like, but I'm typically on Mondays, that's my one open mic night. Like, I usually go to 2, maybe 3, but, like, typically that's the open mic night where I feel the most comfortable. You know what I mean? And then we got this one on Wednesday where I am so fucking uncomfortable. It is probably, and people will vouch for this around here, it's probably the worst place to do comedy, but like Monday I could tell a joke, boom, kill. Go, reword the joke or punch it up a little bit, tell that fucking same joke, and then fucking bomb. But if you make
is how it goes anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so I know if I make people laugh there, I'm like, that joke is going to be a keeper.
That's the thing about, like, places like the Comedy Store on Mondays, Potluck is, like, in terms of the quality of the audience, generally a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of mics that are like that here, but it's one of those things, same thing, where you're like, yeah, this room sucks, but if I make people laugh in this room, that's a keeper for sure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I get that.
There's pluses to every room. If you're not crushing one thing and it's helping your confidence, it's helping you grow as a comedian,
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Because I think we all need that. Is like, that's a huge thing for me that I had to get over, that I'm still constantly working on, is like the, like when a joke that I know does well doesn't do as well as it normally does. I had this thing for the longest time where I would, like, panic and I'd start talking really fast and, like, desperately trying to get to the next punchline.
Mm-hmm.
And rooms like that help you become, like, okay with the silence. Because, like, a lot of times it's like, if you do industry showcases and stuff,
mm-hmm.
You're like, so there's people watching you for, like, TV shows. A lot of times, just by nature of those audiences, they're gonna be quiet. Like, because there's they've seen so much comedy that it's like, it's the same as, like, how a lot of comedians don't really laugh anymore. They just go, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And they're also trying to keep an eye out for, like, okay, they're looking for specific things. So, like, okay, is this person what we need, blah, blah, blah. So they're, on the clock, so to speak. So doing mics where maybe it's, like, silence or to nothing actually helps you be okay with those moments.
Yeah. That makes sense, yeah. So you got it. Now you are going back home to do an album?
Yes. I got my 10-year reunion, and so there was a moment where I thought about trying to, like, film, like, a little mini special there, but then I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. Mostly out of, like, I don't know, like, it's this, big thing for everyone, and I want to be like, let's make it about me. You guys, look how much fun my life is. Which I'm going to do anyways in conversations, obviously. That's usually what it's doing, just try to out-life everybody. I figured while I'm there, what better audience to perform in front of, hopefully. Could be a disaster. I think it could go one of two ways. Either it's going to go really well because it's my hometown, and they're like, oh my, and they're, excited, which I think they will be. The response has been really great. But also, or maybe they'll just be like, do better. I don't know.
No, I think you'll do great. I've watched some of your comedy, not live, but just on YouTube. I did pre-interview enough for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited, and it's like I'm actually like trying to get up as much as I can and go over like old material to sort of, like, dust it off, so to speak, because there's like good jokes that I like. It just sort of fell to the wayside out of just writing more material, and especially in LA, like, until you start getting on the road, which I have gotten on the road, but like the sets in LA, you're getting 7 to 10 minutes, so like as you're working on jokes, other jokes kind of just get put on a shelf.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like dust all those off, make sure I still have all the like punchlines and the tags, because I want to. And that's the thing, is like, these are good jokes that I just don't do anymore because I've sort of outgrown them, like where I'm at with my comedy. But I'm like, there's, obviously there's jokes I did when I started that, like, I would never put on a fucking album.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, yeah, cool. A joke about how drunk I am and sucking a dick. Great. There'll probably be some of those good. But they're sophisticated with punchlines.
Yeah.
But it's like, things that I'm like, I'm proud of this joke, and, maybe it's in 5-10 years from now, maybe in a year from now, I'll be like, how embarrassing. But at the moment, it's like, oh, I want people to still be able to hear this, but but I don't really do it on stage. So let me give it like a home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Like I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I can see within the last year, even the last like 2 years, not my style, but like maybe a little bit is sort of transitioning. Like it's just because I'm growing as a person, so the way I do jokes, which I think is natural if you look at any like big comedians who've been doing it a long time, you listen to their old stuff, it's like completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, they're still them, but you know, you can just see the difference or hear it, I guess. But and I can feel that change going on with what I've been talking about in writing. So I'm like, well, you know what? These jokes aren't necessarily who I am, but they are who I was. And I want, you know, hopefully my career goes as well as I would like it to have that as like a legacy so people can listen back and be like, oh my God, listen when she used to do this whole stuff. It's, you know, it's like when you listen to old Louis, like it's like him at the Houston Improv, it's like completely different. And it's not the stuff that makes everyone go, oh my God, Louis. But it's like, it's stuff that you're like, okay, he was like a funny comedian. Like, yeah. Even then, I mean, he is, you know. So I kind of like the idea of having that and being able to have like people being able to like see the growth throughout time.
Yeah, and I think now, like lately, something I don't know what's going on, which it's fine. I'm totally fine with it, but I'm starting to get more personal with my comedy. Like, you know, at first it was just
I think
like
that's just how it goes.
Yeah, so that's pretty natural, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Okay, because I was just like, I'm just gonna talk about myself and like my life, and like now I'm not saying I'm going on stage and talking, but like I'll think of something like, you know, like some self-awareness. Like I found out like a month or two ago, I'm terrible at confrontation, and I made 3-4 minute bit about that, and I was like, holy shit,
that's great.
I was just like, that's crazy. Like, it was just different for me to start talking about me as opposed to
people in general or like observational.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what? And I think it's like, especially a lot of people, because like I don't know how old are you when you started?
Let's see. Fuck me, 26. So, yep, 26.
Okay, yeah, and I think I don't know. I can't say because like where I'm at is just the age I'm at, and I don't know if growth continues to be as rapid your entire life. But I definitely, from the time I started, like in my like early-ish 20s to now, where I'm just like mid 20-ish range.
Mm-hmm.
What? I'm a woman, not talking about my age. That's but every year it's like just as a person you grow more, and I think that's what happens with your comedy because it's like. You know, when you started, it's not even necessarily, at least for me, and I think other comics may relate to this, it's not necessarily you were, like, afraid to talk about yourself, but, like, you don't even really know yourself then. It's like, there's so many things that you, as you're, like, growing older and you're becoming more self-aware, that you go, oh, like, this is how I am. Like, where, you, like, at some point in our life, we weren't even, we're not even necessarily as aware of, like you'll feel a thing when you're young and just like, I'm emotional. And
yeah.
Grow up and you're like, oh, this is what's causing that. Or like,
yeah.
Or you're able to look at yourself sort of almost like an outside perspective and be really like, the older we get, I think the more honest and realistic we can be about ourselves and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Becoming okay with yourself translates on stage into you talking about yourself. Because as you get older, you become more okay with your flaws. And then you're okay with your flaws, you don't have a problem talking about them. Whereas, until you come to terms with that, you're not going to go on stage and talk about those things because you're, like, uncomfortable with it or you're like, oh, maybe I could change or you're trying to, tuck it in and pretend it's not a thing, which we all do.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
And then one day you realize, like, oh, everybody or so many people do this. I'm not a psycho, and it's fine. It's just part of being human.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, like, I've had to learn, like, growing up, like, I used to think, like, I'm the only one that does this or thinks this way, and then, like, when you talk with your friends, you're like, no, that's a thing I do about every day, and I'm like,
yeah, absolutely, and I think that's why, like, when people fall in love with comedians like Louis and, like, people who are talking about, like, their real, like, how they actually feel, it's because there's so many moments where, like, we think, like, oh, my God, I'm a crazy person for feeling this way, or, like, oh, my God, am I a monster, or, like, what's wrong with me? And then to have someone on a stage in front of you going, I do this all the time. And, like, the people in the audience are laughing. So they're like, oh, my God, I'm not alone. Like, I'm not a crazy person, or we're all crazy people, maybe.
Probably the second one. We're all crazy.
Yeah.
So, now at the open mics there. Now I'll just ask a quick because I know sometimes, like, not here, but I know out of town, like some of them you have to pay money for the open mics as an individual to get time. Is that how it is there, or do y'all do a lot of the bucket? Where you pick a name out of the bucket. Like, how are most of your open mics?
There are some open mics that are like, okay, sorry.
No, you can.
There are some open mics, sorry, I'm crashing at my friend's place between moving, and I left my bag out, and I'm like walking out like a monster to get to an open mic, and hopefully he doesn't murder me.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that pay you, but there's enough that, like, or not pay you, excuse me, God, how great would that be? That you have to pay to go to, but there are more than enough that, like, you don't ever have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who go and pay $5 a night to do some of these open mics. And, you know, if you have the income and it's convenient to you, that's fine. Like, I don't judge, but I hate that venues do it. Like,
yeah.
I hate that, like, if it's a comedy club especially, charging is, like, a disaster to me. But then, it's your own choice. You choose to pay. There's enough that you don't have to pay. There are some that it's, like, 1 drink minimum, and I get those. But I usually try to do, and granted, I'm one of the cheapest people I know.
I'm the same way.
I'll try to go to any that are, like, free. And it's just, like, you're on a, it's hard out here, so you want to save all the money you can. But then when I'm really trying to work stuff out, it's the only options left, it gets later in the night, or, like, that's just what's convenient to me that I can make it to, is one where I have to, like, I won't go to the ones where they make you pay for stage time out of principle.
Yeah.
And I did for a long time. But, like, I'm at the point where I started, like, I get paid professionally as a comedian, so I'm like, I'm not giving you money to get on your stage.
Yeah,
because it's like the same places will do shows and ask you to do them and not pay you, and then ask you to pay for an open mic, which is crazy to me. But ones where it's like, it's at a different venue, and they're like, just buy something to support room. I'll do that, because a lot of these places, especially that aren't built for comedy, it's like, they don't have to be doing that. So that's a nice way to, it's nice that they let comedy be in there when, like, who knows if that's, like, upsetting their other customers, or, like, they could just be like, no, we don't like comedy. And, eventually at night, I'm like, yeah, I can buy a bottle of water or something every once in a while. I'm going to probably do that driving home anyway.
Yeah, just get it there, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a mix. And also, like, on the websites that tell you open mics, most of them will list. So it'll say, no item purchase necessary, or it costs this much, or, 1 item minimum, so you can kind of gauge. And a lot of them will also tell you the amount of stage time you get. Because, like, some places it's a 1 item minimum, but you get 7 minutes, and then some places you get 3 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be the hard thing, because we don't have any. I've done 3 minutes. Like, we do that if we have, like, a headline show, and then we have, like, an open mic afterwards. We'll bump it down to 3 minutes, which is very hard for me to do. I'm like, what do I do? Like, fucking one-liners? I don't try to typically write one-liners, So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do with 3 minutes. But I guess...
Yeah, it's hard sometimes. What I'll do is, I do sometimes write, like, jokey one-liners, and I've made a habit of, like, because I like to put as many punches into a bit as I can, so it's, like, constant laughter. So sometimes I'll come up with a chain of, like, almost one-liners. They're just quick jokes, but it's all about the same topic, so it doesn't seem like it's one-liners. It becomes, like, this just whole bit. So a lot of times, those are good times to, like, okay, let me work out this one bit I have that I've been working on, and just do one bit and try a couple new tags, or, like, try saying it differently. I think a lot of times, especially starting out, or, like, depending on, like, how other people in the scene where you are, people are afraid to be seen by their peers like repeating material or seeming like they're repeating material because they're like, oh, I don't want people to think that I haven't written anything new. But it's like, you're supposed to be fine-tuning that stuff all the time. You know what I mean? So even if you have this bit you've done forever, and then all of a sudden you think of, oh, this would be a great tag to add in the middle of that, who cares? Do the whole bit at an open mic and try the tag with it.
Yeah.
It's like, people can be like, oh, he's just doing his old bit, but it's like, you know you're working on something. So fuck those people.
Yeah, that makes it, because I do get worried about that, because I'm like, they're not going to fucking laugh. Why the you know, and I've gotten a lot better about it, like, because I was like, like lately now I've been writing tags to like older jokes and stuff and like punchlines. I'm like, well, I guess I need to go back and like, if they don't laugh, it doesn't matter. At least if the tag or punchline's good, they'll laugh at that. So, but I'm having to like still get out of that weird stage of like, oh, they're just fucking judging me like, oh, he doesn't fucking write, or you know, whatever. You know what I mean? It
really helped me to get, because for the first 2, maybe 3 years being out here, I was very concerned about what other comedians thought. Like, I always was like, I want the other comedians to like me, which obviously, like, you want the respect of your peers, but like, don't focus on that. Don't let that consume you, because like, you'll get too worried about like, oh, am I being too hacky? Is this too whatever? And then, because at the end of the day, you don't get paid to do comedy because you can make other comedians laugh.
Yeah.
You know, it's the audience you can make laugh. So like, don't be afraid if you think something's funny. Don't question it and be like, oh, what is so-and-so comedian going to think? And like, blah, blah. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Because you'll stunt yourself. So you can't worry about what anyone thinks really at this level. You have to be willing to take risks, because that's when you're going to find a really good, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is going to involve failing sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah, I think when we fail or like bomb, like, oh, like I think the first time I really like bomb, well, of course that was like my first time. Like, I look back at that video and I was like, I made one laugh, and that wasn't even part of my jokes. That was just me saying some shit and everybody laughed. But I was like, oh, but like the one time I bombed was like right before my show. Like, I fucking tanked, and I was like, oh shit, like I got shitty nervous, like this shit, like why am I booked, like I'm gonna bomb so hard, like and then that effect, but then I went to that show, fucking killed it. I was like, okay, maybe I don't suck that bad. But I guess just the fact of like bombing, though, when I did bomb, like I tried harder, you know what I mean, like I went more into like harder. Practicing, and I went to this fucking mindset that I didn't know that I had to have. You know what I mean? That's sometimes it goes away, but pretty much for the most part, I'm like, think of a joke, because I can't sit down. I don't know if you can, but I cannot sit down and literally write shit. It is very hard for me to like.
You know what's funny is that I feel like I do better off the top of my head versus sitting down and writing a joke. But what I've noticed is, because I have a very hard time sitting down and just writing from nothing. Mm-hmm. But when I actually force myself to do it, I end up getting good bits out of it. And what I'll do when in those moments, which by the way are very rare at this point, which I need to make a change for, I'll just start writing about whatever I'm thinking about, and I'm not going out of my way to try to be funny. Like, I'm not like, I have to write a joke down on the paper. I'm just like, here's what's on my brain, I'm going to just start writing and see where it goes. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're a naturally funny person and you're just thinking about something, you start writing about it, eventually the funny kind of just starts flowing in there.
Yeah. That makes sense, yeah. Because I really need to make myself just do that, because I keep hearing people say, sit down and write, and I'm like, holy fuck. And and
it is difficult. It's very difficult. Like, that for me, and I think for a lot of people, is one of the hardest parts of the whole thing, is just the discipline.
Mm-hmm. And we gotta get more.
Especially when you feel like you're funny enough and your brain comes up with stuff enough that you're like, okay, I think of enough stuff getting back. It's one of those things where, like, wow. Because I'll see people who maybe when they started, or like even now, like, I don't consider like naturally super funny,
Mm-hmm.
but they'll like, they work their ass off on writing it, and they end up kind of catching up to the other people who are just skating by on the fact that they're funny. So if you're like a really funny person, imagine what you would do if you had the discipline of a person who's not even funny that's doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
it's what I've been trying to do lately, and take this as a grain of, for a grain of salt, because it's all in theory at this point, so I keep not putting it into actual practice, but like scheduling time and just being like, from this time to this time, like as like it's a job, and like this is when I write.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense.
Dedicating that time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like scheduling to write,
Yeah.
like, okay, Monday I'm going to 3 open mics, and then, but before that I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes and write, or some shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And then like maybe give yourself 30 minutes. Even coming up with like in that time frame, like, okay, I'm gonna write until I have. Like, if you write by hand or even on a laptop, it's like, okay, I'm gonna at least write until I have 3 pages of stuff written down.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That could be a long day.
Yeah, right. Or, I mean, it's, whatever. Make your own limitations, but that way it's like, that way you're holding yourself accountable.
Yeah. And then, and it's good to push yourself. It's like, if you think you can only do 2 sheets, maybe say 2.5. You know what I mean? Push yourself as an individual. Do like Shia LaBeouf and just do it. I don't know what the fuck that was about. That video he did. Well, we're about 45 minutes in. I know you got open mics to go to. Do you want to plug your show and your Twitter and anything you want to plug?
Yeah. When is this being released? Sorry.
This will be released Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. I will be at the Improv in Las Vegas, inside Harrah's, from Tuesday, July 14th through Sunday the 20th.
Uh-oh.
And you can follow me at JMS Comedy. If anyone happens to be in Alaska on July 24th, I'm doing 2 shows at Choku Charlie's at 7 and 9 p.m. recording my album. So hopefully be available not too long after that.
Okay, did y'all hear her? I want everybody to be there. I don't care if you got to get a plane ticket. Fucking be there.
That's right. Everybody fly in.
So awesome. Man, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll do it again. I'm always down to record. Pretty much every Monday or Tuesday, I'm recording a podcast. So.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I would love to be on again.
I know the manager, his name is Curtis Blow. He don't get high, but baby, if you want, he'll go down low. Doing a podcast on a random Thursday night. Curtis Blow, he's gonna make you feel alright. I know the manager, he knows what's going down. He'll make you laugh, but he damn sure is not a clown. I know the manager, and this man, he's got clout. He's gonna make you scream, he'll make you shout. He's gonna make you scream, he'll make you shout. I know the manager, yeah.